Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. Some of you might be aware that we're having trouble uploading yesterday's drink, Makeshift Monday's drink, but here's to hoping that we can make a Makeshift Monday drink on Tuesday for our first official Bourb'arian Makeshift drink. Okay, as this is our first Bourb'arian Makeshift drink, we have to start with bourbon, so we're going to go with Dylan's favourite, Buffalo Trace. Now, how many alcohols on top of that? A big 4, that seems about right. First up is a 9 for mead. Let's see which mead we're getting. Okay, spinning out of control, but we're getting the Maxwell spiced mead. Next up is a 13 for amaretto. Now we're going with the Luxardo amaretto or the Disaronno. We're going with the Luxardo. We'll go light on this because we've got a lot more to roll up. Next up is a 10 for gin. Okay, let's see which gin we're gonna get. And we're going with the Hortus watermelon and apple gin. Again, going fairly light. And our final roll is a 12 for Paraiso, which is carried over from the Cointreau sheets because it didn't get used very much, so it's good to see it. Time for our mixer flip. And we've got 2 mixers, of course. First up is a 3 for tomato juice, just when things were looking good. We'll go sparingly because we do have a second mixer, and that second mixer is a 15 for creaming soda. Here in Australia we have Kirk's brand creaming soda, which is pink, because apparently that's weird to some people. And for our number of additives or garnishes, only 1, thank the gods for that. And it is going to be a 2, of course, for Vegemite rim. So let's get a good bit of Vegemite smeared all over that rim. Nobody likes a sticky brown rim, let's face it. Now let's chuck some ice in our mix, give it a good stir, get it nice and combined, and pour it up. It doesn't look awful, but I'm not happy about it. And finally, our new Bourb'arian sheet feature, Dregless Attack instead of Reckless Attack, where I'm going to roll a d20, and if it's less or equal to the total number of ingredients, we're going Dregless. The total number is 7, and we got a 15, so we're well above it. No Dregless Attack tonight. Okay, we're back on track. Hopefully things are back to normal. We'll find out. Very ironic that we got a drink like this on the return after the issues we were having. But again, hopefully things are back to normal. And this feels like a really fitting start for the Bourb'arian sheets. And if you're wondering what the Dregless Attack means, if I had rolled the 1 to the 7, this drink would have been down in 1, no dregs, finished. Like a true barbarian. But either way, let's see what we're up against. Obviously, I'm gonna have to get some Vegemite in this. Cheers. Surprisingly, I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's weird, a lot of the watermelon came through, and now I'm getting a very savoury aftertaste, which is a little bit off-putting. As far as a drink with the Vegemite rim goes, not the worst. I'm gonna go in for a quick second sip without the Vegemite, so I can maybe taste a bit more of the drink and figure out what's going on. Cheers. Okay, out the gate, it is kinda nice. The fruity flavors come forward, definitely the watermelon, the amaretto coming forward as well, and the creaming soda, I think, is pairing in with that. And then it evolves into that savory tomato juice flavor, which does kind of ruin the drink. I think it would have been really nice if it was not for that. You know what, the Paraiso is probably coming into play as well. You're definitely losing the bourbon, but retaining all of those more sweeter, fruitier flavors. It does have an artificial fruitiness to it, but I don't exactly hate that. Let's try again with the Vegemite. Now that I know what it should taste like, let's see how it does get affected with the Vegemite. Cheers. Yeah, it gets weird. It gets weird at the end. There's no doubt in my mind that the gin is the leading flavor, because that watermelon comes through everything. That sounded weird. Get your minds out the gutter. It's definitely an artificial watermelon flavor. I don't know where in the world has Hubba Bubba bubblegum, but if you've ever had the watermelon Hubba Bubba bubblegum, that's what it tastes like. followed by maybe some other like artificial fruity flavors, and then tomato juice, salty Vegemite, savory weirdness. It's sweet and savory, but not in the good ways. However, out of all the drinks that have had a Vegemite rim and all the drinks that have had tomato juice in them, this one isn't half bad. So on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, I'm gonna sit this one at a level 7, which doesn't sound great, but it's not bad. It's not a bad level, it's just something that I probably wouldn't order again for myself, but I would drink another one. And for the name, because this is the first Bourb'arian drink, and you got the tomato juice, the Vegemite, it makes it look like it's been roughed up a bit, rubbed in the dirt. Yes, dirt, nothing else. It's dirt and blood. Anyway, we're gonna call it the Bourb'arian's First Brawl. But of course we're left with the dregs. Welcome to the dregs. If you're new to the end of one of these episodes, you're now one of the dregs. It's where we finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers, the ones that stick around to the very end. We appreciate all of you. However, with these sheets, the dregs is going to be something that sort of comes and goes, because if we get a dregless attack, the whole point is there is no dregs. Which I know sounds very disappointing. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to be disappointed as well, but the benefit for me is it makes the episode a little bit shorter and probably quicker to edit. I guess the downside is I have to chug a whole drink. And there is a higher chance of getting the dregless attack the bigger the drink is. A maxed out drink has a 50-50 chance of being a dregless attack. However, this one wasn't, so we're just going to do the dregs as per usual. So thanks for being a dreg, thank you for being here. Again, hopefully this video is a bit more back to normal. Hopefully we can just get back on track, because we just want to have a good time, want to have fun. And you know, just for the overlords, we do this responsibly, we don't encourage this behavior. This isn't even alcoholic, it's actually juice. So let's get done with the dregs. Cheers to the dregs. Bottoms up. Watermelon, dipping, tomato, savory. I chose to avoid the Vegemite rim. I think I got enough of that. It's not awful. It might be a little bit higher than a level 7 without the Vegemite rim, but we need to consider everything in the drink. So it's a level 7. Good night, dregs. Or good time zone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. We're still having uploading issues, so hopefully here's yesterday's makeshift drink. How many alcohols for tonight? Only 2, that's better than the last drink. And first up is a nat 1, so that gives us 1 to our fails, so we're neck and neck for an advantage or disadvantage, and we have Spiritus Rectificani, which we're only going to put a little bit in because it is strong. And our second alcohol is a 10 for gin, which we had in the last drink, so let's see which gin we're getting this time. And we're going with the Mason's Grapefruit and Mandarin gin. Time for our mixer flip. And we're getting 2 mixers again. First up is a 19 for Sprite. I have my Sprite here, but I'm going to hold off, see what else we get, and we'll top it up with Sprite at the end. Next up is a 16 for pineapple juice. Let's add in a little bit more than 2 ounces. And now for our number of additives or garnishes, and it's a scary 3. First up is a big 18 for lemon juice. That's going to partner up with everything in the drink so far. And then we have a 15 for lime juice, so just continuing on with the citrus theme. And our final roll is a 7 for condensed milk, which is new to the sheets, and I don't really know how much to put in, and I don't know if it's going to curdle. Is that enough? Nah, we'll go a bit more. In for a penny, in for a pound. And now for our Bourb'arian sheet feature dregless attack instead of reckless attack, where I'll roll a d20, and if the result is less than or equal to the total number of ingredients, we're going dregless. We're looking for a 7 or less. And we got a 12, so no dregless attack tonight. Now let's get some ice in here, give all these ingredients a good shake. Pour it up, but leave just enough room to top it up with some Sprite, and it looks creamy. Well, to answer the question, yes, it does seem like condensed milk still separates. Fantastic. I suppose it's still better than full cream milk, especially considering it was grapefruit mandarin gin, the pineapple juice, the lemon, the lime. The separation was almost unavoidable. Oh, and the Sprite as well, the carbonation wouldn't have helped. Everything together sounds good, with the exception of the condensed milk. But let's see how it tastes. Cheers. Oh, it's sour. It is sour and a little bit sweet and creamy, which is not what you want with your sour drink. However, I think all the sour elements kind of make it better, because lemon juice, lime juice, that pairs perfectly with the Sprite. It all ties in pretty well with the pineapple juice and the grapefruit mandarin gin. Yes, it is a lot of citrus and a lot of sour, but if you're into that, it's pretty good. Now, I do like sour drinks. This is borderline an exception. It's weird, I don't hate it, maybe I just need to get used to it. So let's go in for a second sip. Cheers. It's definitely the creamy element that is throwing me off here. Everything else is great, and then there's this sweet, creamy aftertaste. Get your minds out of the gutter. I know what you're thinking about, because I'm thinking about it too. Just stop. We need to be on our best behavior lately. So it probably doesn't help that this drink got the Spiritus Rectifiquani in it, because we all know what that stuff's like. It is strong. Overall, on the second taste, it's too citrus, too sour, weirdly creamy and sweet, doesn't really blend together, but it's not awful. So I'm gonna sit it on our level 1 to 20 scoring system at a level 10. Right in the middle of the road. It's not awful, it's not great, it just is what it is. And yes, I know what it looks like. Again, get your minds out of the gutter. Or maybe I shouldn't tell you to get your minds out of the gutter, because I'm gonna call this drink Flump Gunk. But we're still left with the dregs, as always. If you're new to the end of one of these videos, welcome to the dregs. You're now one of the dregs. It's where we finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers, which is now you and all our other lovely dregs, just for the ones that stick around to the end of the video, because I know it's not everyone. And that's why you're the dregs, because you're the remaining group. But you're my favorite people. Out of everyone that watches the videos and likes the videos, you're the ones that actually care about the videos. So thank you for being here. And this feels close to dregs, which is a nice change of pace. Again, we didn't get a dregless attack, so let's see what happens going forward. I'm sure it's going to happen eventually, and I'm going to hate it. It's going to be something awful. But in the meantime, let's get it done. Cheers to the dregs. Bottoms up. I'm adjusting to how sour it is, but that sweet, creamy aftertaste is pretty rough. I'm happy at a level 10, right in the middle. Good night, dregs. Or good time zone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. Let's make another makeshift drink. We're using Winter Wormling's Court of Vampire dice again tonight. Let's see if they serve us well with only 2 alcohols. First up is a big 19 for limoncello, a pretty safe way to start the drink. And our second alcohol is an 8 for rum. Let's see which rum we're getting. The Captain Morgan Original Spiced Gold. Not a bad combination in my opinion. Time for our mixer flip. And we're only getting 1 mixer. And it is a 17 for Kamikaze Energy. Big shout out to Kamikaze for sending us some product. And we're going with the apple fizz flavour. So lemon, apple and rum. Sounds pretty good. Time for our additives or garnishes. And we're only getting 2 of them as well. First up is a 14 for maple syrup. Definitely going to sweeten the drink up a bit. And our final roll is a 12 for sugar rim. So it is time to bust out the rimming station made by our good friend Tom over at Tusano Trading Co. Definitely go check him out. He is our woodworking wizard. Now let's give this glass a good rimming. Get the sugar all around that rim. A nice, sweet, sticky rim. Lastly, our new Bourb'arian sheet feature, Dregless Attack instead of Reckless Attack, where I'll roll a d20, and if it's equal to or less than the total number of ingredients, we're going Dregless. So we're looking for a 5 or less, and we got a nat 20, so that was never going to be Dregless. Now let's get some ice in here and give the rest of our ingredients a good stir, get it nice and combined, especially that maple syrup at the bottom. Now we can pour it up. And it's looking a bit shallow, so we'll top it up with some nice hand-flavoured ice. Just quickly, again, big thank you to Kamikaze Energy for sending us a bunch of stuff to put in the drinks, knowing full well that the drinks aren't always good. However, this one does sound pretty good. Lemon, apple, rum, maple, sugar, probably going to be pretty sweet. Hopefully the limoncello cuts that back a bit. Let's find out. Cheers! Wow, that is very nice. It is sweet, but the lemon does come through. It's almost like you have a sour lemon candy or lolly, whatever you call them, but you've already sucked away the sour part and you're just left with the sweet lemony aftertaste. It's almost like that, but you do have the apple and the maple syrup definitely coming through. And to be honest, the rum is gone. Why is the rum gone? I'm going in for a second sip, see what's going on. Cheers. Yeah, that rum is really getting overshadowed. This is damn easy to drink too. It's very lemon apple forward. Definitely tastes like candy because the apple fizz kamikaze kind of tastes like candied apples, not so much like a sour apple. Although I think a sour apple flavor would maybe work better in this drink. Get the sour lemon, the sour apple, and then have your sugar rim and the maple syrup to sweeten it up. But despite that, it's still a very nice drink. The aftertaste is 100% maple syrup. That is what lingers the longest. So if for some reason you don't like maple syrup, you might not like the drink. I suppose if you don't like sweet drinks, you might not like the drink too much. Personally, I'm not huge on sweet drinks, but this one's pretty decent. I think with a little bit more adjustment, maybe a bit more of the limoncello, a bit more of the rum, or cut back on the other ingredients, a bit more balance between that sweet and sour kind of note, could be close to a level 20, but it's not quite there. So on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, I'm gonna sit this one at a 17. It's definitely got potential. I would like a little bit more of that rum to come forward. I suppose the spiced flavors from the rum are partnering up with the fruity flavors a bit and the maple syrup. But a level 17 is still a pretty damn good score. And for the name, because we've got this nice sort of mossy color, it's making me think of dryads. Even more so with all the fruity flavors in there. It's definitely giving like a forest woodland kind of vibe. But with that sugar rim on top, I'm going to call it the Snow Dusted Dryad. And as always, we're left with the dregs. Welcome to the dregs. If you're new to the end of one of these videos, you're now one of the dregs. It's where we finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers, which is now you and all our other lovely dregs. Thank you for always coming back. I really want to make some merch for the dregs, specifically for the dregs. But we're all very new to this content creating game and none of us really know how to go about merch or how to do it or any of that stuff. But when it happens, we'll be letting you guys know. Also, what sort of merch would you guys want as dregs? Do you want like shirts, hoodies, stickers, something else? Coasters? I don't know, let me know and we might be able to start looking into something. And hopefully we can design some nice imagery to put on these things and make it look a little bit special for the dregs. Anyway, let's get this drink finished. Cheers to the dregs I'll get a bit more of that sugar rim. Okay, wow, the rum definitely coming forward a bit more, and the maple syrup has just taken over again. There is a bit more lingering lemon and apple sort of flavor. It does have a very like hard candy taste to it. Very specifically like a hard candy. But it's got a lot of potential to be a nice sweet sour drink, just needs a little bit of adjusting. Anyway, good night, dregs. Or good time zone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. It is Makeshift Monday, so let's make another makeshift drink. Now, how many alcohols to kick off the week? A big 3. And first up is another 3 for Mr. Black Coffee Liqueur, which makes me a bit nervous because coffee liqueur doesn't work in everything. Our second alcohol is a 17 for schnapps, and we're going with the butterscotch schnapps, which is probably for the best. And our final alcohol is an 11 for Dubliner. We have a honeycomb Dubliner, which is kind of perfect. Time for our mixer flip. And it looks like we're getting 2 mixers. First up is a 5 for cider, which is a hard apple cider, which is definitely an interesting mix for these alcohols. And our second mixer is another 5 for double cider. I definitely wouldn't have complained with double milk instead of double cider. But here we are. Now for our number of additives or garnishes, only 1. And it is a 9 for rosemary sprig. Well, let's get some ice in here, give all our ingredients a good stir, and we'll pour it up. And of course it's very dark because of the coffee liqueur. Now we'll add our rosemary sprig on top. And just for a little bit of fun, we'll give it a bit of a singe, add a bit of a smoky element to this drink. And lastly, our Bourb'arian sheep feature, dregless attack instead of reckless attack, where I roll a d20, and if the result is equal to or less than the total number of ingredients, we're going dregless. We're looking for a 6 or less, and a 3 will do it. We're going dregless tonight. Okay, we finally got our sheep feature for the Bourb'arian, dregless attack, which means this drink has to go down in 1. So there shouldn't be any dregs left. So just before I drink it, we did have a really strong start and then a kind of weird finish. Cider definitely wouldn't have been my mix of choice with the 3 alcohols. Although I think the rosemary sprig kind of works with the cider. So mixer and garnish work together, the 3 alcohols work together, but all of it, I'm not sure. But we're about to find out, so as a true barbarian would, let's get it down in 1. Cheers! Wow. Okay, hang on. Let me process. Definitely a lot of smoky aroma from the rosemary, which kind of pairs up nicely with the coffee liqueur. I don't hate that. The apple cider definitely came through more than I was expecting it to, but the coffee liqueur is still the leading flavour. And surprisingly, the butterscotch and honeycomb didn't come through as much as I thought they were going to, but they still did just linger at the end there. So somehow it was a pretty well-balanced drink and kind of worked. Also, I'm doing a bit of pre-filming today for the rest of the week, and this was the first drink of the filming session, so probably a really good way to perk myself up. I'm weirdly surprised how much I like that because I'm not usually a big coffee guy. But that was nice. I am a big cider guy, maybe that made the difference. Anyway, on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, I'm going to sit that one at a very weird 18, which seems way too high, but it kind of worked. Also, I know some of you were going to say I probably should have smoked to the glass with the rosemary, and I did think about that, but I also want to add that as an option for a future sheet, as like an additive or garnish butterscotch, I guess you would call it. Probably an additive, right? So that's why I didn't smoke the glass. Now for the name, it's definitely giving me wood elf vibes. And it's also giving me sort of like nice evening campfire sort of vibes. So I'm going to call it the Wood Elf's Evening Watch. Did you dregs really think I would just leave you with nothing? Welcome to the dregs, by the way. If you're new to the end of one of these videos, you're now one of the dregs. It's where we would usually finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers, which would be you guys. But obviously there's no dregs, dregless attack. So what I'm thinking is there's bound to be some true dregs left in the bottom of this. So let's see what we can get out of it. That's it. Probably half watered down. But that is truly dregs. So just so you're not missing out, cheers to the dregs. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. Yeah, it's still not bad. It definitely was a lot more watered down, but kind of still works. The honeycomb and butterscotch came through a little bit more. Little less cider, which is weird. Anyway, good night, dregs. Or good time zone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. Let's make another makeshift drink. Now, how many alcohols are we going to get? Only one. A nice simple drink. And it's going to be a 10 for gin. I feel like we've been getting gin a lot lately, and we're going with the 23rd Street Violet Gin. We'll use the last ounce out of this bottle, crack open another one, and we'll do another ounce, seeing as it's our only alcohol. Time for our mixer flip. And we're only getting one mixer as well. And it is a 7 for milk. Gin and milk. No one's favourite combination. But here we are. Now for our number of additives or garnishes. Only one of those as well. And we're getting a 3 for pickle juice, because what else would we have gotten with this combination? It just got increasingly bad. Finally, our Bourb'arian sheep feature, dregless attack instead of reckless attack, where I'll roll a d20, and if it's equal to or less than the total number of ingredients, we're going dregless, so we're looking for a 3 or less. And we got a 13, so it's no dregless attack tonight. So I suppose let's get some ice in here, give everything a good shake, get it as combined as possible, and we'll double strain it into the glass to try and catch any ice chips or stray lumps. It's definitely a drink. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's some major separation going on here. Just like that. I think I'm going to give it a stir before I try it, just so I don't get two completely different flavours. As if it wasn't bad enough already. That'll do, I suppose. Ugh, it is looking thick on top. Let's give it a try. Cheers. Nope. No. It's not good. It's really not good. Okay. Bringing it back down. Wow, that is something else. That is on a whole nother level. Milky pickle gin. I don't recommend it. Pickles coming forward. Big time pickle flavour. The big pickle. I guess the gin is sort of there, but the pickle really just takes control. It's milky pickle. With, I guess, a bit of that dry, floral sort of quality from the gin. It's bad, guys. Like, it's not good. Which just goes to show that simple doesn't always mean good. Usually it does, but not always. I don't know if this would have been better as a dregless attack, just get it down in one, because I don't know if I want to go in for a second sip, but I suppose I have to. Cheers. That one almost got me. I've been asked before the closest I've come to bringing it back up, And there's only been a couple of occasions. This is now one of those occasions. It's making my eyes water. It's really not a fun time at all. I can't even think straight right now. I think it goes without saying on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, this is a level 1. Which doesn't surprise me because we had a string of good drinks, so I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. And here it is. It definitely feels fitting for the Bourb'arian sheets, even though there's no bourbon in it. It's definitely a barbarian drink. The constitution stat for this drink will be a level 20. Luckily, I've been building my constitution over this series, although it is pushing me. I'm just making my saves. So with this definitely being a barbarian drink, I'm gonna name it the Barbarian's Milk Punch. And it looks like Mr. Crud's Dud Dice are out of jail because these guys need a timeout. But of course we still have the dregs. Do you want to do these dregs? Nah, I'm good, thanks. Good luck. Yeah, I don't blame you. Well, I'll just leave it here, and if anyone else wants to do the dregs, they're welcome to. Oh, even I don't want to do these dregs. No, I'm just gonna... Good night, dregs. Well, someone has to do the dregs, so I guess I will. Welcome to the dregs, by the way. If you're new to the end of one of these videos, you're now one of the dregs. It's where we finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers, which is now you guys. I guess there's nothing left to say, but cheers to the dregs. Let's just hope I can stomach it as well as he did. Bottoms up. Yep, any second now. Bottoms up. Any minute. Just do it. Just drink it. Cheers to the dregs. Nope. Nope. Alright. Hold it together. That is god awful. Don't drink that. Don't even think about drinking that. Good night, dregs. Or good time zone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I'm so glad I didn't have to drink that. Did you guys really think I was going to leave that last little bit in the bottom? What is the dregs if not this? This is the dregs, so we got to get it. Probably not my smartest idea, but we have to commit to the bit. I don't like that sound. Well, cheers again to the dregs. Let's get it done. Oh. Might have been a mistake. Good night, dregs. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. Let's make another makeshift drink. We're going to give Mr. Crud's Dud Dice another run now that they're out of jail. Let's see how many alcohols. Only 2. That's fairly safe. First up is a 5 for tequila, starting off strong. And we're going with the Blanco tequila. And our second alcohol is a Nat 20, which gives us 1 to our successes, moving closer to an advantage roll, and that gives us bourbon for the Bourb'arian sheets. And we're going with the Howlerhead Banana Bourbon. Technically it's a bourbon whiskey liqueur, but it's still bourbon. Time for our mixer flip. And we've only got 1 mixer. And our 1 mixer is a 6 for rosé. So an alcoholic mixer, which is very fitting for the Bourb'arian sheets. Now for our number of additives or garnishes, and it's a big 4. First up is a 10 for sugar syrup, which might help a little bit with balancing this drink out. Next up we have a 13 for gold leaf. So let's just dump some of that straight into the mix, I guess. Next up is a 9 for rosemary sprig. You know what? We're going to put that in the mix as well. And last but not least is another 10 for double sugar syrup. Why not? Now I'm just going to stir this all together with no ice so the gold leaf doesn't stick to all the ice. Then we're going to serve it up in the most appropriate glass that I can find. And we'll get our rosemary sprig back out and finish it off. And finally, our Bourb'arian sheet feature, Dregless Attack instead of Reckless Attack, where I'll roll a d20, and if it's equal to or less than the total number of ingredients, we're going Dregless. So we're looking for a 7 or less, and we got an 8, so no Dregless Attack tonight. Well, I would say that Mr. Crud's Dud Dice have served us a lot better than last time, although tequila and bourbon had me worried. I can definitely smell the banana from the howler head, but let's see how we go. I feel like it's going to be strong but sweet. Cheers. Strong was right. Has a little bit of a burn, just a little bit. But the banana's coming forward. The rosé is playing in a little bit. The tequila is gone. It's mostly bourbon and rosé, which is a weird combination. But when it's banana bourbon and rosé, it kind of works. There is a little bit of aromatics from the rosemary sprig. Not too much, but just a little bit on the nose. But the drink has such a richness to it that the rosemary sprig kind of doesn't really matter. Let's go in for a second sip, see if we can figure anything else out. I don't know why I say we. It's just me. But I suppose you guys, a collective we. That sounded weird. Anyway, second sip. Cheers. Yeah, it still has that burn. Because I think even the rosé is a little bit more on the dry side. So that partnered up with tequila and bourbon, it's going to sting a bit. The sugar syrup isn't quite pulling its weight as much as it could to try and alleviate that alcohol burn. But flavor-wise, it's pretty nice. It's odd, but it's pretty nice. As far as scoring it on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, while it does taste decent, you do get that burn. The rosemary sprig is kind of pointless. The gold flake looks nice, but I think I'm gonna have to sit this drink lower than a 10. Maybe a level 7 or 8. We'll go 8. Which might sound pretty low because it looks pretty nice, but it's just a bit wishy-washy. Some of the ingredients aren't necessary. It would require a fair bit of changing to fix this drink. So for that reason, a level 8. I would drink it again, but I wouldn't order it again. And for the name, you can't deny it's got big bard energy. The gold leaf, the rosé, the sweetness from the sugar syrup, but it's still a Bourb'arian drink. So I'm gonna call it the Bardic Bourb'arian. And as always, we're left with the dregs. Welcome to the dregs. If you're new to the end of one of these videos, you're now one of the dregs. Sound off if you're a new dreg. And all the old dregs, welcome all the new dregs. Thank you for being here, if you are a dreg. It's where we finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers. And you guys are the ones that really matter, because watching the video the whole way through really helps boost the videos. And while I am happy with the community we've got and how much we've grown, let's face it, we could always use some more dregs. We always want more dregs. So thank you for being a dreg, thank you for watching the videos the whole way through, and thank you for being here. Long live the dregs. Cheers. This is gonna burn, and it's probably gonna be weirdly textured because of that gold leaf. Bottoms up. Get out of my way, rosemary sprig. Stop. Oh. Oh. Okay. A little bit at the end there just really got to me. It didn't go down right. Oh, okay. That really solidifies the level 8 for me, because that was rough. And it definitely solidifies it being a Bourb'arian drink. Jesus. It was like going good, bit of a burn, right at the end something just went, nope. I pinched my throat closed. But I suppose both bards and barbarians can do some damage to a throat. Good night, dregs. Or good time zone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. Let's make another makeshift drink. We have a new dice tower, courtesy from my mother as a gift for Christmas. Thanks, Mum. Let's see how it goes. Number of alcohols? A big 3. First up is a 15 for liquor 43. Now we've got 2 options for the liquor 43, and we're going with the horchata liquor 43. Little bit of a scary start, but it is dairy free, so hopefully no curdling. Next up, we have a 17 for schnapps, and we're going with the peach schnapps. I feel like the butterscotch would have worked better with the horchata. But horchata's kind of creamy, peaches and cream, it kind of works, sort of. And our last alcohol is a 2 for absinthe. Of all the things to roll, we got absinthe. Time for our mixer flip. And we're getting 2 mixers. First up is a 5 for cider. This is a hard apple cider, as usual. I know over in America you guys have a non-alcoholic apple cider thing going on, but we don't really have that here in Australia. And our second mixer is a 7 for milk. Just when I thought the horchata was going to be okay, in comes the milk. How many additives or garnishes are we getting? 3 of those as well, great. First up is a 5 for chai spice. You know what? Not the worst option we could have got here. Next up we have a 14 for maple syrup. Okay, the additives and garnishes are trying to bring it back. I see what you're doing. And last but not least is a 16 for a mint sprig. Well, let's get the rest of this put together with some ice. We'll give it all a good stir, try and get it nice and combined. Let's double strain it into our glass. Fingers crossed, no separation. Now I've got this monster bit of mint, give it a good old spank and place it in top. Now for our Bourb'arian sheet feature, dregless attack instead of reckless attack, where I'll roll a d20 and if the result is equal to or less than the total number of ingredients, we go on dregless. So we're looking for an 8 or less. And that is definitely less. We are going dregless. Somehow we didn't get much separation. It was clean on the double strain. It even looks pretty normal here. I mean, there's a few little lumpy bumps, but that could be from the chai spice. And we did get a dregless attack, so this has to go down in 1, no dregs left. But just quickly, before I drink it, we've kind of got some really big news. Going forward into the new year, we're finally launching on other platforms. Namely, the good old TubeU, if you know what I'm talking about. We'll have our first episode of our brand new series, Cocktail PvP, still in the tavern, but it's not makeshift drinks. It's all new stuff over there. Originally we were going for longer form content, but the videos are probably going to be about 10 minutes each, roughly. Might be a little bit shorter, some might be a little bit longer. But Dylan's going to be over there, he's going to be running the joint, you know, comments, uploads, all that stuff. I'll still be here running the TikTok. And it's not just the brand new series, we also started a podcast, because why not? So episode 1 of the podcast will be going up as well. They're both going to be dropping next week. Dylan's planning on uploading the first new episode on midnight, New Year's, which might be the 31st for most of the rest of the world. And we're going to try and make that a weekly thing. So if you're not already over there, jump over there and get ready, because it's coming real soon. Also, we are over on the what are we going to say? T-Witch. If you catch my drift, playing some games over there. We're going to be trying to do that every Monday and Tuesday for us. Time zones are weird, but there is a good chance those replays will also get uploaded to the TubeU later on. Anyway, it's going to be a big year for the Tavern. Come join us over there. We're still going to be doing this, but that is all new content. So look forward to it. Now I've yapped on long enough, so it is time for the Dregless attack. Wish me luck. Cheers. Whoa. Okay. Give me 2 seconds to think about what I just drank. Somehow, the two biggest flavors that came through was the hard apple cider and the chai spice. I thought the peach schnapps was going to come forward a bit more. Not really. Obviously, the Liquor 43 horchata and the milk probably paired together pretty well, both like creamy, kind of milky consistency. Getting a bit of that maple syrup note just at the end. And of course the mint was all up in my nose as I was drinking it. I did think it was just gonna smell a lot like mint, taste a lot like milk, and that would be the end of it. But there was a lot more to it, and I don't hate it. The absinthe didn't come through at all. It was just hard apple cider, creamy chai spice maple syrup. Sounds a little weird, but not that weird when you think about it. You know, like a maple chai apple milk with a bit of a mint on the nose. Surprisingly decent. Maybe I'm just getting too used to these drinks. But on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, that one is going to get a level 14. Even now, the aftertaste is quite nice. Drinking it wasn't really a struggle. Way better than I thought it was going to be. And for the name, obviously with that giant bit of mint on top, you gotta think Druids, but that also ties in because, you know, you got the fruity elements from the peach and apple, you got the maple syrup and the chai spice. So I'm gonna call this one the Druidic Pick-Me-Up. But as always, we're left with the dregs. Welcome to the dregs. If you're new to the end of one of these videos, you're now a dreg. This is where we would finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers, but Dregless Attack kind of prevents that. This is our second ever Dregless Attack. Last time I did have a little bit of dribbly dregs left, so I suppose I could see if I've got some more. Again, like last time, if there's anything, it's gonna be mostly watered down. Oh, wow. A little bit more than I anticipated. Somehow I think this is going to be worse because watered down milk doesn't sound great. But cheers to the dregs. Hopefully we see a bunch of you over on the other channels watching the new content in the new year, because it's just going to be going hard, going fast. That's our motto here at the Makeshift Tavern. Get your minds out of the gutter. Cheers to the dregs. Yeah, a little bit worse. Not terrible, but just lacking a lot of that extra flavour that made it decent. Anyway, good night, dregs. Or good time zone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. Let's make our last makeshift drink of the year. How many alcohols to kick off this year's final drink? A big 4, of course it is. And first up is a 7 for Ouzo, which is new to the list. I believe this is the first time we've had it outside of the live we did to introduce the Bourb'arian sheets. Next up is a 2 for Absinthe, which kind of pairs up with the Ouzo, both very anisey, licoricey kind of flavours. Our third alcohol is a 15 for Liquor 43. And which one are we going with? The original this time, okay. Not too bad so far. And our final alcohol is an 11 for Dubliner, which is a honeycomb liqueur, which does partner up with the Liquor 43. I don't hate this combination. Time for our mixer flip. And we've only got one mixer for all these alcohols. And our one mixer is a 17 for Kamikaze Energy. Thank you again to Kamikaze Energy for sending us a bunch of stuff to put in these drinks. And we're going with the Rainbow Gummy Kamikaze Energy, but I'm gonna hold off on it because I might want to shake all this together and we'll top it up at the end. Now for our number of additives or garnishes, we're getting 3. First up is a 7 for condensed milk. Now we're getting weird. We're just gonna squeeze an amount in there. That'll do. Next up is a 4 for chili flakes. We'll just sprinkle a few in. That seems like enough. And last but not least is an 11 for the kamikaze powder. So we're doubling up on kamikaze for this drink. And we're going with the creaming soda powder. Now this is like a pre-workout powder, so it's high on energy. A couple of the other ones are more for muscle recovery, but it looks like we're going high energy for this drink. I'm only going to use a little bit because a full scoop is designed for like a lot more liquid. Now let's add some ice. Give it all a shake because it definitely needs it. We'll pour it up and it's definitely looking like a drink. Making sure all those chili flakes come through. And now we'll top it up with our rainbow gummy energy because that's exactly what this drink needs. Last but not least, our Bourb'arian sheep feature, Dregless Attack instead of Reckless Attack, where I'm going to roll a d20, and if the result is equal to or less than the total number of ingredients, we're going to go Dregless, so we're looking for an 8 or less. And a 3 will do it. We are going Dregless tonight, again. Well, it seems fitting that the last makeshift drink of the year is a big one, but I'm not looking forward to it because of course we got Dregless Attack, so this has to go down in 1, no dregs. We're going Dregless. So very quickly, before I do drink this whole thing, just another reminder, our new series, Cocktail PvP, is going up on the TubeU tomorrow night? Midnight tomorrow, New Year's. We're kicking the new year off with a bang, new series, but it's over on TubeU, if you know what I'm talking about. We got to be careful what we say on here sometimes. So if you haven't joined us over there already, you might want to because the new series is coming. Now episode 1 is a little bit shorter than we were anticipating. We were hoping to get somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes, and it's sitting more around the sort of 7-minute mark, but it's very punchy. It's all energy. It's almost more like a live stream sort of energy if you've caught any of our live streams. So while over here we're going to be a little bit more laid back like we usually are, except for the chaos of the drinks, over there hopefully things are going to be a little bit more chaotic energy and a little bit more higher production. Also again, we are going over on the T-Witch to play some games starting Monday for us. So the first day of the new year. We're going to be doing some Minecraft on the Mondays, just some nice chill vibes. And then we're going to be playing Baldur's Gate on Tuesdays. Hopefully it works out with your time zone, but we just sort of have to play it when we can, which is going to be in our sort of afternoon evenings. So it's going to be a big year for the Tavern, so come join us in the other areas if you want to see new and exciting content. But we're still going to be here doing this. Speaking of which, it is time to drink this, and it's gotten quite dark and creamy. It's almost like a rich creamy colour. I imagine it's going to be fairly sweet. Let's see how we go. Wish me luck. It could get messy. Cheers! Whoa! Oh. Okay. The ouzo and absinthe really coming through. Just give me a minute. Oh, that's better. There is a burn on the tongue, but not a burn in the throat. So I'm feeling like the alcohols and the chili flakes are bringing that burn. Aftertaste, I'm getting a lot of that kamikaze creaming soda powder and the kamikaze rainbow gummy, which I think are outshining the Liquor 43 and the Dubliner honeycomb liqueur. They might be coming through a little bit, but I'm more tasting the creaming soda rainbow gummy flavors. But first and foremost was definitely that aniseed hit of ouzo and absinthe. A very weird combination that kind of worked. I guess the condensed milk probably brought a lot of sweetness as well, which does help nullify a lot of that burn. It still tingles a bit on my tongue. That sounded weird. Get your minds out the gutter. We're not doing that tonight. Let's be respectable. But yeah, it was weirdly creamy, sweet, fizzy. It was definitely fizzy, licoricey. It has a weird dessert quality to it. but it is very confusing. There's maybe like almost a marshmallow kind of taste in there somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, I'm gonna sit this one at an 11. Just a little bit above the halfway. I didn't hate it. I would have to maybe sip on it a bit more to work it out a bit better. The Dregless attack does kind of make it hard to score because I don't get to go in for that second or third sip, but I think a level 11. I would definitely drink it again, and I would probably order it for myself, but I wouldn't be raving on about it. And I probably wouldn't have more than one. So a level 11. Now for the name, it does have a bit of a duality to it because you've got those aniseed flavors, but then you've got those sweeter, creamier flavors. So I'm thinking centaurs. Centaur? Centaur. What do you say? Anyway, I'm gonna call it the Centaur's Creamy Concoction. Or the Centaur's Creamy Concoction. And of course, we still have the dregs. Welcome to the dregs. If you're new to the end of one of these videos, it's usually where we finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers, but as always, Dregless attack makes that a bit hard. However, if you have seen the last couple of Dregless attacks, you probably know what's about to happen. There's a little bit left in here, and it's probably watered down from the ice, but that is what we're drinking for the dregs. It feels like dregs. It definitely feels like dregs. Well, I'll say it now, Happy New Year everyone, because obviously we don't do videos on Sundays, however there might be a little sneaky video coming out at midnight on Sunday to announce the things that are coming, so maybe keep an eye out for that. And hopefully we see you in those other places when we're doing other things, because we are expanding. It's going to be a big year for the Tavern. World Tour 2024. Maybe, depending how the first few months go. Cheers to the dregs. Whoa. Yeah, I didn't like that. But it does kind of settle. It's like burn, aniseed, creamy, sweet. Anyway, good night, dregs. Or good time zone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. Let's make a bonus action makeshift drink. So I was thinking, you know what we haven't done in a while? A bonus action makeshift drink. So for anyone that's not sure, a bonus action makeshift drink is still a makeshift drink, it's just no close-ups, no fancy angles, none of that stuff. We just go one camera setup, we roll the dice, we make the drink, it's just a lot more streamlined. It doesn't count to the official number of makeshift drinks, but it's still a makeshift drink. So there's no saving throws, no successes or fails, it's just a drink. That's it, no continuity, standalone. So let's start with our number of alcohols. And we got a big 3. First up is a 12, which gives us Paraiso, which is a lychee liqueur. Next up is a 13, which gives us Amaretto, which is an almond-based liqueur. But I think it tastes like cherries. Call me crazy. And finally, an 8, which is rum. So we're gonna have to roll to see which rum we're getting. There's 9 on the shelf, so we're gonna roll a D10, and on a 10, it's dealer's choice, but we got a 5, which is gonna be the Captain Morgan Spiced Gold. Time for our mixer flip. It's one mixer tonight, and our one mixer is a 2 for apple cider vinegar. Time for our additives or garnishes. And we're getting 3 of them as well, of course we are. First up is a 15 for lime juice. Next is a 16 for luster dust. And finally we'll swap D20s for a 4. We shouldn't have swapped D20s because that gives us chili flakes. So let's get things set up. There we have it, that is the lineup for this drink. So let's get started with the Captain Morgan Spiced Rum, which some people say technically isn't a rum, but it's still a rum. It's a spirit-based drink with rum in it. Now we have our amaretto. I could have used Disaronno, but you know, I've got the Luxardo amaretto, so I might as well use that. And finally, our Paraiso lychee liqueur, which we don't roll up enough, so I'm glad we got it. Now we have the apple cider vinegar, which contains the mother. Don't know what that means, but we're gonna put in 3/4 ounce. Now for some not so freshly squeezed lime juice. There's not a lot left, so we're probably just gonna use the rest of it, which is like an ounce. More than I would usually use, but hopefully it's going to fight off the apple cider vinegar. Let's add in some chili flakes. Not too much, just enough. That's probably too much. And last but not least, a bit of rose red luster dust. Now I need to decide if I'm going to shake it or just stir it, because the luster dust really needs to work its magic. So let's just stir it without any ice. We can always add ice after. Hell yeah, look at that. Definitely goes in line with the chili flakes. I'm gonna go with this glass because, you know, ruby red, but I gotta get some ice first. Got some ice and it's time to pour it in. Transfer it in here for an easier pour. It smells rough. A lot of lychee and vinegar. And there you have it. Today's bonus makeshift drink. At least the red matches the vibe of the chili flakes. You know, red equals spicy, right? Either way, let's give it a try. Cheers. Oh, hang on. Oh boy. Oh. You feel that in your chest, which has to be the vinegar, maybe a little bit of the lime juice. It's a lot. Maybe I put too much apple cider vinegar in, but that is quite a punch. The amaretto and the Paraiso with the lychee and what I describe as a cherry flavor are coming through, but after the vinegar burn. I suppose I should go in for a second sip. Not that I really want to. Cheers. Oh, it's so much flavor. I can't say I'm a big fan of it. The spice is starting to kick in. I reckon I got a couple of those chili flakes coming in now. But this is a very rough drink. I don't know any circumstance where this would be something that you would want to drink. That being said, it's not the worst thing I've drank. It just has a really big kick, but flavor-wise, it's not terrible. Which isn't to say it's good, it's just not a level 1. So on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, this gets a level 3. It is definitely drinkable, but it's not necessarily enjoyable. And as always for the bonus actions, I will let you guys name this drink, so let me know what you think it should be called. Cheers! But as always, we can't forget about the dregs. Welcome to the dregs. If you're new to the end of any of our videos, you're now one of the dregs. It's where we finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers. And this one's going to be rough, because there's still quite a bit of drink in here, and I know a lot of that chili is sitting on the bottom. So before I drink it, thank you for being a dreg, and thank you if you're one of the dregs that's on our other places, like the Tubu or the T-Witch. Because we're expanding, the tavern is getting bigger, we've got big plans for the new year, so if you're not over on one of those other places, come join us, because it's gonna be fun. Weekly uploads, hopefully, if we get our shit together. At least we're gonna try and do weekly uploads. We're still gonna be here doing this, but we're also gonna be in other places doing other things, so If you want all the Tavern content you can get, that's where it's going to be. I mean, really, I'm just putting this off because this is going to be some rough dregs. Not going to lie, I still feel the burn. But we got to do it. We got to commit to the dregs. We do it every time. So, cheers to the dregs. Thanks for being here. You guys get to watch the extra content where usually I suffer for your enjoyment. I mean, let's not get it twisted. I enjoy what I'm doing as well. I enjoy that you enjoy it. So cheers to the dregs. Let's get it done. God damn it. Oh boy. Oh boy. Spicy. I didn't get as much of the chest bone, but it's all up in my mouth. I got a lot of that chili flake. The Paraiso really pulling its weight. A lot of that lychee flavor coming forward, which is probably partnering up with the amaretto. Because as I said before, it tastes like cherries to me. I know it's almonds. Don't come at me. If you're an amaretto cherry person, let me know. Because that's all I taste. But damn, that was a rough drink. Anyway, good night, dregs. Or good time zone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world, because time zones are weird. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. Let's make another makeshift drink. Now, how many alcohols for tonight? Only 2, less than the last couple. And first up is an 8 for rum, which we had in the last drink. And we're going with the Raspberry Bacardi, a nice light fruity start. And our second alcohol is a Nat 20, so our reset saving throws gets 1 to the successes, and that gives us bourbon for the Bourb'arian sheets. And we're going with the Jim Beam Devil's Cut. Time for our mixer flip, and we've got 2 mixers. First up is a 14 for peach nectar, but I couldn't find peach nectar, so we have apricot nectar. Close enough, right? And our second mixer is a 4 for beer. Now I have some Prancing Pony Hopwork orange beer, but we're gonna save that and top it up at the end. Time for our number of additives or garnishes, and it's a big 3, which is always worrying. First up is an 11 for Kamikaze Powder. And as always, thank you to Kamikaze Energy for sending us all this stuff to put in our drinks. And we're going with the Hawaiian Splice. Now these are like a pre-workout, but some of them are more for muscle recovery. However, this one is for energy. So it's going to give us a bit of a kick, but I'm only putting a little bit in because 1 scoop is designed for a full shaker. Next up, we have a 2 for the good old Vegemite rim. So let's smear some of that good old brown, sticky, salty Vegemite all over the rim. No rimming station because we got to keep that thing clean. Have some respect. And last but not least, oh, you can't really see it, but it is a Nat 20. Let me move that. So that gives us 1 more to our successes, moving closer to an advantage roll again. And that gives us bitters. So we're going to go with the Angostura Aromatic Bitters. We'll do a couple of dashes of that. Now let's get some ice in here, give it a good old shake, get everything nice and combined. Pour it into our freshly rimmed glass. Top it up with our Hopwork orange beer. And finally, our Bourb'arian sheet feature, Dregless Attack instead of Reckless Attack, where I'll roll a d20, and if it's equal to or less than the total number of ingredients, we're going Dregless. So we're looking for a 7 or less, and a 13 isn't it, so we're not going Dregless tonight. It definitely looks a lot more orange than I was anticipating, and we finally broke the Dregless Attack curse, so I actually get to enjoy this drink. We'll see. Also, I know I've been droning on about it, but we are over on Tubu and T-Witch. Hopefully, I'm sure a bunch of you have already joined us over there, but if you haven't, you're kind of missing out. And so are we, by not having you there. It's a lose-lose situation. Unless you're over there, then it's a win-win situation. But we've got new content, new series over on TubeView, and we're doing some live stream gaming. So if those things interest you, check them out. I mean, stay here as well, because we're still doing this. This is where Makeshift Drinks live, but if you want to see the other stuff, you know where to go. Anyway, it is time to try this drink. I'm sure it's going to taste mostly of beer on top, but let's find out. Cheers. Make sure we get a nice thick bit of Vegemite. Okay, hang on. Oh boy, that was weird. I don't know how to feel about this at all. There's a lot going on and I cannot process it, which I think means I have to go in for a second sip because I've got nothing. That was just an assault on the senses. So, cheers again. Probably gonna regret this. Okay, there's definitely a beer flavour in there because it's probably all floating on top. I've probably drank the majority of it now. But it kind of works with the Vegemite. Like when you're drinking beer, you got some salty snacks, you know, pretzels, peanuts. That's kind of Vegemite. Vegemite is the salty snack that goes with the beer. Not hating it. It is weird, but I've had worse. And then creeping in towards the end is that sweet factor from the apricot nectar. Not peach, but close enough. And it's probably partnering up with the Kamikaze Hawaiian Splice Powder because that has a very sort of orangey feel to it. So like an orange apricot aftertaste, but a weird like hoppy, salty beginning. I don't know if the raspberry Bacardi made it through. It might have got left behind. You know what, let's give it a little stir and try it without the Vegemite rim just to see what's going on. Cheers. The raspberry Bacardi is there. I think the Vegemite must overpower it because it came through just the tiniest bit. Actually, it is surprisingly better without the Vegemite rim. But that could also be because I drank a lot of the beer that might have been floating on top. So now we're just down to more of the fruitier elements without any of that salty, hoppy bitterness. Yeah, bitterness makes sense because we did put bitters in it, which I kind of forgot about. So while I'm sure there is still a little bit of the beer flavour in there, it's probably a lot less, and without the Vegemite rim, it's quite nice. But on the flip side, with the Vegemite and with the beer, maybe not so nice. And because that is a part of the drink, on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, I'm going to sit this one at a level... I really want to bump it up because it was nice from the other side, but I think I'm going to have to sit it at a level 4. I don't know if this is something that I would order again or drink again. So it just makes it into that bottom quarter bracket, which is disappointing because outside of the Vegemite rim, it's a really nice colour. And for the name, because we were using Prancing Pony's Hopwork Orange Beer, which is an amazing pun by the way, I'm going to call this drink the Artificer's Hopwork Drone. But as always, we're left with the dregs. Welcome to the dregs. If you're new to the end of one of these videos, you're now one of the dregs. It's where we finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers, which is now you guys. And I don't really feel like doing these dregs, so you're up. Wait, so I'm actually included this time? This is a good day. Let's do some dregs. I mean, he already did the whole dregs speech, so thank you for being a dreg. Do I want that? It's not bad. I don't hate that. Let's do some dregs. Cheers to the dregs, thanks for being here. Let's get it done with the rim. Cheers. Oh, the rim was a bad idea. It was not good. All I can taste is salty beer. Although, sweet flavour coming in now. Nice fruity, raspberry, apricot. Still not great though, on the whole. Good night, dregs. Or good time zone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. Let's make another makeshift drink. Now, how many alcohols to round off this week? Only 2. Starting us off with a big 19 for limoncello. Definitely not complaining with that. Nice, light, refreshing start to the drink. And our second alcohol is a Nat 20, our third and final success. Hang on, come here. So that means our first mixer roll will be with advantage, and that gives us bourbon. So which bourbon are we going with? The Howlerhead Banana Bourbon. Time for our mixer flip. And we're only getting 1 mixer, but it is with advantage. So for the advantage roll, I'm going to roll 2 d20s and pick the higher of the 2 numbers, like you would in a game of D&D. And we've got a 12 and a 13, meaning we're not getting iced tea, but we are getting Fanta. And which Fanta are we going to go with? The orange Fanta. I know there's more than 2 flavours, but here in Australia, we kind of just get these 2 flavours. Now for our number of additives or garnishes. That's only 2 of those as well. First up is an 18 for lemon juice, so that's going to partner up with the limoncello and kind of the Fanta as well. A lot of citrus going on. And next up we have a big 19 for a maraschino cherry, all high rolls so far. However, we'll hold off on the cherry, we'll add that on top at the end. Now it's time for our Bourb'arian sheet feature, Dregless Attack instead of Reckless Attack, where I'll roll a d20, and if the result is equal to or less than the total number of ingredients, we're going Dregless. So we're looking for a 5 or less, and a nat 1 will definitely do it. We're going Dregless tonight. But first, let's get some ice in here, give all our ingredients a good stir, get them nice and combined. Pour it up into our glass, and it is very vibrant. Now last but not least, we're going to add our cherry in. So we're back on the Dregless attacks, which means this one has to go down in 1, no dregs left behind, like a true barbarian would. And unlike the last makeshift drink, Hopwork Drone, I was expecting this one to be orange, because I knew that Fanta was really going to pull its weight. Also, just quickly, the first episode of our new podcast, Over a Barrel, is now on the tube. You can watch it over there, but it's not on anything else. The first episode is us mostly talking about the history of the tavern, how we got started, and how we got to where we are today. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. And there will be a new episode of Cocktail PvP coming out in about a day-ish, depending on when you're watching this video. Now let's get to the drink. There's actually quite a bit in here for a Dregless attack. I'm gonna take the cherry out to make it a bit easier for myself. We will get to you after. All right, cheers. Let's see what we're dealing with. Whoa. Oh, hang on. There is a lot to process there. I'm gonna hold off on the cherry so I can keep this flavor going. The banana from the Howlerhead Bourbon, coming through a little bit, not too much. More so a lemony orange kind of flavor, obviously from the limoncello, lemon juice, and Fanta. But I don't think either one's taking control. They're kind of neck and neck. And then there is that underlining banana sort of flavor. Very funky and pretty nice. Not gonna lie. Could have been a lot worse. All those high rolls definitely helped. Suppose I'll try this cherry as well. I mean, that nice bit of sweetness just to kind of tie it all in with that tartness from the citrus also works really well. So it had a nice color, it was a pretty good flavor. It wasn't too sour from the lemon because the sweetness from the Fanta really pulled that back. And it was fairly well balanced. Maybe if you didn't put the lemon juice in because you've already got the limoncello, might have been a bit better. Maybe that banana could have come forward a bit more. But as it stands on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, I would give this one a level 15. It didn't blow me away, but it was definitely enjoyable, definitely looked nice. Maybe a little bit of tweaking could bump it up a bit, but I don't think it would ever get to a level 20. And for the name, because we're using the Howler Head Bourbon, which has a big monkey face on it, we also were using Mr., our dice companion up there from Critical Role. Big monkey vibes going on. So I'm gonna call it the Funky Monkey Familiar. But of course, we're still left with the dregs. Welcome to the dregs. If you're new to the end of pretty much any of our videos, except for the blind drunk cocktails, you're now one of the dregs. It's where we would usually finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers, but Dregless Attack kind of stops that. However, as we've done with every other Dregless Attack, there's gonna be some watered down dreggy dregs left in here, so let's get some of that. There it is. The true dregs, cherry stem and all. Now if you're worried that it is more water than drink, it's quite orange, so I'm sure there's quite a bit of flavour still left in there. But let's find out. Cheers for being a dreg, thanks for being here. We honestly do appreciate all of you so much. Without you guys, the tavern doesn't exist, you know that. So let's get it done. You know what, that was kind of better dregs than the last few dregs of the Dregless Attacks. Something about the watered downness of it really just mellowed it all out. I think all the flavors had a bigger chance to just sort of meld together. In a weird way, the dregs is almost making me want to bump that level up to maybe a 16, but we'll leave it at a 15. Because you're not always going to be getting that dregs at the end. Anyway, I've said dregs enough. Good night, dregs. Or good time zone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world, because time zones are weird. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. Let's make another makeshift drink. Now, how many alcohols for tonight? Big three, the same as Monday's drink. First up is another nat 20, so we got two to our successes. We seem to be rolling a lot of 20s lately, but that gives us bourbon, and we're gonna go with the Buffalo Trace. Starting off strong. Next up is a 17 for schnapps, and we're going with the Peach Schnapps. I feel like that would have paired up better with the Howler Head Banana Bourbon, but oh well. And our final alcohol is a 14 for brandy, and we're going with the Black Bottle Brandy. Not a super weird combination so far. Time for our mixer flip. Oh, it's a bit hidden, but it is a 2. And first up we have an 11 for ginger ale. Yeah, I feel like that kind of works with our alcohols. And our second mixer is a 17 for Kamikaze Energy. Big shout out to Kamikaze for sending us all this stuff to put in our drinks. And we're going with the blue raspberry flavor. Now it's starting to get a bit weird. Time for our number of ad-libs or garnishes. And it's a big 3, so it's exactly the same as Monday. 3, 2, 3. First up is another nat 20, so that's 3 to our successes. The next roll will be with advantage. I can't help but feel like something bad is coming, but that gives us bitters. And we're going with the orange bitters. I mean, it can't hurt at this point. Now up next is our advantage roll, so I'm going to roll 2 d20s and pick the higher of the two numbers. And we got a 3 and an 11, which is Kamikaze Powder. However, the 3 would have been pickle juice. But we're doubling up on Kamikaze with the Gut Greens Peach and Mango. Now this one isn't so much a pre-workout, more of a muscle recovery. So no need to panic that I'm putting it in the drink. Right? What's our final roll gonna be? A 12 for a sugar rim. So that means we're busting out the rimming station again, made by our good friend Tom over at Gisano Trading Co. And we're gonna give our glass a good rimming. Make sure we cover the entire rim. Now we're going to go back to our mix, and because we have the carbonation, we're just going to give it a good old stir. Pour it up into our freshly rimmed glass. It's looking a little short, let's chuck in a nice ice sphere just to bulk it up a bit. And finally, our Bourb'arian sheet feature Dregless Attack instead of Reckless Attack, where I'll roll a d20, and if the result is equal to or less than the total number of ingredients, we're going Dregless. So that'll be an 8 or less, and a 17 won't do it, so we're not going Dregless tonight. So it's not the best looking drink, despite rolling 2 nat 20s, which has been stupid lately. We've been rolling so many 20s, and not a single one, so I'm waiting for that other shoe to drop, because it is bound to happen. Now I can see a lot of the greens sunk to the bottom. Obviously you're supposed to shake those powders, but because we had ginger ale and the Kamikaze Energy, couldn't really do that. So I'm gonna give it a little stir around again just before I drink it. I mean, you can really smell the peach, considering it's peach schnapps and peach and mango for the Kamikaze powder. So let's see how it tastes. Cheers. It's a lot. It's sweet, very peachy. It does have a little bit of a burn to it, which is probably from the bourbon and brandy, I'm guessing. But the blue raspberry Kamikaze, the sugar rim, even the peach schnapps, there's a lot of sweet, fruity, artificial flavors going on. Which isn't to say it tastes bad, it's just very sweet. If anyone's had those little heart-shaped gummies that are covered in sugar, I think one half's yellow, one half's red, they taste like peaches. That's kind of what this is tasting like. But if you dipped it in sugar syrup first, it's a lot. Let's go in for a second sip. Cheers. It's very weird at first because you do get that bourbon and brandy flavor, and then it's immediately taken over by that sugary, sweet, fruity, peachy flavor. The aftertaste is quite nice because it does end on that peach note, but the process to get there, bit weird. I'm not getting much of the ginger ale. If anything, it's probably coming through at the start as well. And the orange bitters, I can't say if it's doing much. Maybe it might be adding to the burn a little bit. Overall, it definitely tastes better than it looks, but it's still not great. To be honest, if we steered away from the bourbon brandy combination and maybe leaned more into like a vodka or Cointreau kind of situation, probably could have been really good. But as it stands on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, this is gonna get a level 7. I would drink it again, but definitely wouldn't be ordering it anytime soon. And for the name, because we keep rolling bourbon, and seeing as it is the Bourb'arian sheets, I mean, that's fitting, this drink has to be a Bourb'arian drink. But also it has big druid energy, so I'm gonna call it the Druidic Bourb'arian. And as always, we're left with the dregs. Welcome to the dregs. If you're new to the end of any of our videos, you're now one of the dregs. It's where we finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers, which is now you and all our other lovely dregs. Thanks for always sticking around to the end of the videos. It does mean a lot. Because while we can see how many people have viewed our video, we don't know exactly how many people are sticking around to the end. And that's you guys, the dregs. So I suppose there's not much else to do. Let's say cheers to the dregs, thanks for being here, and let's get the rest of this done. Oh, that last bit. Last bit was weird. There's a lot of bits in there from the Kamikaze powder. It all came at the end. I'm guessing shaking it probably would have prevented that, but yeah, don't always get what you want. Anyway, good night, dregs. Or good time zone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world, because time zones are weird. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. Let's make another makeshift drink. Now, how many alcohols to round off the week? A big 4, it's a bit hard to see, hang on. A big 4. And first up is a 10 for gin. But which gin are we going with? The Hortus Watermelon and Apple Gin. Next up, we have a 4 for Bourb'aria, if I'm saying that right, which is a herbal liqueur from the Czech Republic, so shout out to the Czech Republic. Next we have a 14 for brandy. Let's see which brandy we're going with. And it's the St. Remy VSOP. It's the St. Remy. So it's looking like a strong drink so far. And our final alcohol is a 19 for limoncello, which we have had recently, but I'm definitely not complaining. Time for our mixer flip. And we're only getting one mixer for our 4 alcohols. And our one mixer is a nat 1. So we get 1 to our fails, but that also means we have no mixer for our 4 alcohols. Hopefully we get some additives. Speaking of which, time for our number of additives or garnishes. And we're only getting one of them as well. That is scary. And our one additive or garnish is another nat 1. So we get another fail on our saving throws, and we're also putting nothing in the drink, which means it's just the 4 alcohols. Well, I suppose it's time for our Bourb'arian sheet feature, Dregless Attack instead of Reckless Attack, where I'm going to roll a d20, and if the result is equal to or less than the total number of ingredients, we'll go on Dregless. Not that I think it's going to matter, but a 10 won't do it, so we're not going Dregless on this. I guess we'll put some ice in here, give it a shake, get everything combined, maybe dilute it a little bit. And we'll just give it a dirty dump, because that's what it deserves. See, now I knew something bad was coming, because we rolled a lot of nat 20s over the last few drinks, but I didn't think it was going to be this. I don't think in the entire history of makeshift drinks have we not rolled a mixer and an additive or garnish, let alone 4 alcohols. But I suppose over the course of 200 plus drinks, it was bound to happen eventually. At least the alcohols we got aren't the worst ones we could have got. At least there's no Malort on this list. And there's no Malort in this drink. And to be honest, I said Dregless Attack wouldn't matter, but it would still kind of matter. There's a lot of drink here. And to do all that in one, damn, that's a big shot. But I suppose I should at least try it. Hopefully the ice has maybe helped dilute it a little bit, but it's a bit of an uphill battle. Cheers. That's a lot. It is a lot. Luckily that gin is really pulling its weight. It's got a really good flavor. The limoncello's kind of fallen to the wayside, and the brandy is doing its best to ruin this drink. I think with the gin, the limoncello, and the Bourb'aria, it could have been something tolerable, but the brandy is really dirtying up the taste. So on that note, we're going in for a second sip. Cheers. It is a lot, I'm not gonna lie. Despite the nice flavor of the gin, despite the limoncello trying its best, with no mixer and no additives, it is pretty rough. Now I wouldn't say it's the worst thing I've drank, but it's probably one of the hardest things I've drank. Although I suppose worst and hardest kind of goes hand in hand. So I really don't know how to feel about this drink. I mean, I could have just poured 4 shots and just done them back to back, probably would have been easier. However, here we are with this. I think on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, with it not being the worst thing I've drank, I think back to the pickle juice milk gin drink I had not long ago. This one's gonna sit at a level 3, which doesn't sound too bad in comparison, but it's still pretty rough. And for the name, because we got the 2 nat 1s, I'm gonna call it the failed saving throw. And despite being a level 3, these dice are coming out of jail because these ones have earned it. That was disrespectful. And of course, we're left with the dregs. Welcome to the dregs. If you're new to the end of one of these videos, you're now one of the dregs. I'm gonna take a seat because this one's gonna be rough. But this is the segment where we finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers, and as you can tell, it's not really dregs. And just to add insult to injury, there is a bit more in here. So, top her up, and we're left with a full drink. Just give me a minute to process what I'm about to do, because although I said in the last makeshift shot to not do stupid things and make sure you dilute or mix your drinks if they're strong, I am about to drink all this. So I will just say right now, as a disclaimer, this is fake alcohol. This is all fake alcohol. It's been a ruse the whole time. Everything is filled with water and various juices. I've been playing you all. But thank you for being a drag. Thank you for being here. I know some of you are probably saying, no, don't do it. But we can't pick and choose, unfortunately. Because if I don't do this, then what's stopping me not doing other ones? If we're doing the dregs, we got to do the dregs. Despite how non-draggish they might be. Well, cheers to the dregs. This could be the one that breaks me. Bottoms up. Whew. We're not broken yet. We're still going strong. We can keep this going. God damn. If it wasn't for that gin and even the limoncello coming through, I don't think I could have done that. If it was some different alcohols, like the Fernet, if anyone caught the last live that we did where I had to do a shot of Fernet, it was rough. So thankfully we had some tolerable mixes there, but it was still a struggle. Thank you for being a drag, and good night, dregs. Or good time zone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world, because time zones are weird. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. It is Makeshift Monday, so let's make another makeshift drink. Now, how many alcohols to kick off the week? Only one. And our one alcohol is a 15 for Liquor 43. Let's see which Liquor 43 we're going with. The Horchata. Time for our mixer flip. And we're getting two mixers tonight. First up is a 3 for tomato juice. We'll just pop a bit of that in there. And our second mixer is a 4 for beer. Let's see which beer we're getting. And we're going with the Kirin beer, but I might hold off because we probably want to shake this and top it up with beer after. Now for our number of additives or garnishes. And we're only getting one of those as well. And it is a 10 for sugar syrup. Don't think it's going to help at this point. Now let's get some ice in here, give it all a good shake, get it as combined as we can, I guess. Pour it up into our glass. Oh, it is very thick. Give me a minute. Just shake the last little bits out. And now we can top it up with our beer. And last but not least, our Bourb'arian sheet feature, Dregless Attack instead of Reckless Attack, where I'll roll a d20, and if the result is equal to or less than the total number of ingredients, we're going Dregless. So we're looking for a 4 or less, and an 8 isn't going to do it, so we're not going Dregless tonight. Well, this definitely feels like a Monday drink. It is an absolute abomination. I guess it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to taste bad, but I think we all know it's probably going to taste pretty bad. Luckily, we didn't get Dregless Attack because I don't know how I would go getting this down in one. Also, just a reminder, there's a new episode of Cocktail PvP over on the tube if you want to go check that out. And if I've uploaded this early enough and you're catching it early enough, we're going to be over on the Tea Witch playing some games, so come join us there if you want to. After this video, of course. Now let's drink this drink. All I can smell is beer, and it looks very frothy and foamy on top. Cheers! I don't like it. I don't like it. None of these flavors are working together. The sugar syrup, weirdly enough, is trying to tie it all in. And to be fair, the sugar syrup would probably work well with the horchata, but not so much the beer or tomato juice. I'll give it a little stir in, just in case I was getting predominantly beer on top. Gotta make sure we get all those flavors. Let's go in for a second sip and see what we're dealing with. Cheers. It's so offensive on the taste buds. Ugh. In the drink's defense, the tomato juice has taken a little bit of a backseat, but it's still there. It's still there enough just to be volatile. It is largely beer and sugar syrup are the two main flavors come into play, with a nice underlying tomato juice sort of creaminess, and it's just not a good combination. There's really not much more to say about it. You know, sometimes simple doesn't mean good. So with that being said, I think it's pretty clear on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, it's a level 1. Very disappointing start to the week, and I feel like it's been a while since we've had level 20. I don't know if anyone wants to go back and check, but I know it's not going to be anywhere within the recent drinks. And for the name, we're going to call this one the Orcs Offensive Horchata. And despite only being one drink in, these dice are coming out of jail because these dice deserve the jail for this abomination. But of course we're left with the dregs. Welcome to the dregs. If you're new to the end of any of these videos, you're now one of the dregs. It's where we finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers, unfortunately. But thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. You get this little bit of extra content. Hopefully we get to see some of your dregs in the other places, you know, the Tea Witch and the Tube. But we do appreciate you being here as well. So cheers to the dregs. Let's get it done. In just a second. Just give me 1 second to mentally prepare myself for this. Alright, let's do it. Cheers! Alright. Yeah, it's a level 1. Without a doubt. That is so weirdly savoury, sweet, bubbly, bittery. It's just not good. Don't make that drink. Good night, dregs. Or good time zone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. Let's make another bonus action makeshift drink. Now, if you haven't seen a bonus action makeshift drink before, they're pretty much the same as a normal makeshift drink, but no close-up camera angles. It's just one shot, one take, and that is it. Which means the main benefit for me is it's easier to film, easier to edit, because we're pretty busy in the tavern right now, so this is a nice alternative. I think we'll use Mr. Crud's dud dice, because it's been a while and they're super nice. I'm very happy with the purchase. Go check out Mr. Crud on the gram. They're not on here. Grab our Bourb'arian sheet and we'll get started with our number of alcohols. A big 3. And our first alcohol is a 14 for brandy. So off to a pretty rocky start considering there's 2 more alcohols. Next up, we have a 2 for absinthe. Fantastic. Not that it really matters, but what's our third alcohol? A 5, which is tequila. Tequila, more like to kill me, right? Time for our mixer flip, 1 or 2 mixers. Thankfully, it is 2. So our first mixer is another 14 for peach nectar. We actually don't have peach nectar because I couldn't find any at the shop, so we have apricot nectar, which is good enough. And our second mixer is a 4, and that gives us beer. I actually have an open bottle of Kirin here because I've been pre-filming today. So that's the beer we're using. Now for our number of additives or garnishes, I forgot to move that D20, but we're getting 3 additives and garnishes. So it's a pretty big drink. First up is a Nat 20, so that's bitters. We'll figure out which bitters and brandy and stuff we're using after. Our second additive or garnish is a 15 for lime juice. That works with the tequila. And finally we have an 11 for kamikaze powder. So I'll have to go figure out which kamikaze powder. We got 3 brandies, the Black Bottle, the St. Agnes and the St. Remy. So 1, 2, 3. And we got 1, so we're going with the Black Bottle. Do another coin flip for our bitters. 1 for Angostoras, 2 for orange. And we're going with the orange bitters. We'll also have to do a coin flip for our tequila, Reposado or Blanco. 1 for Reposado, 2 for Blanco. We're going with Reposado. Now the kamikaze powders, we've got pre-workout creaming soda, pre-workout Hawaiian Splice, Gut Greens Mojito and Gut Greens Peach and Mango. Didn't go down the stairs, but it's a 3, so we're going with the Gut Greens Mojito. So let's get all our ingredients together. That's our lineup, and thank you again to Kamikaze Energy for sending us a bunch of stuff to put in our drinks, whether they turn out good or bad. And let's get started with the brandy. Now we got some pretty strong things, so I'll do like 3/4 ounce of each, which is still quite a bit, but you know, it is what it is. And I've just realized as I'm saying that, we do have absinthe. So I might not do 3/4 ounce absinthe, maybe 1/2 ounce. Let's be responsible, as much as we can anyway. A little bit more than 3/4 ounce on the tequila, but that's fine. You know, it's only my least 2 favorite spirits going in this drink. What could go wrong? I suppose we'll hold off on the beer, we'll shake everything together and we'll top it up at the end. So time for our apricot nectar, which should be peach, but you know, they're both stone fruits. It's same but different. We'll do 2 ounces of that. Do a few dashes of orange bitters. 1/2 ounce of lime juice. And let me just figure out how much of this I need to put in. 1 scoop for 500 to 600 ml. So this is a 400 ml glass and it's nowhere near full. So we're not doing a full scoop. Do about a 1/4 scoop. It's still probably too much. Now we get some ice and shake this all up. I think it's definitely necessary to shake it considering we have the kamikaze powder. It definitely smells like a drink. And seeing as we're going to top it up with the beer, we'll pour it out into our tall boy. To be honest, that kind of feels like the perfect amount. There we go. I mean, it looks fairly unassuming, but we all know what went in this. And we all know it's going to pack a punch. I'll take a little sip knowing that I've topped it up with beer, so it's probably going to be predominantly beer on top, but then I'll mix it in after. So cheers. Not as much beer as I thought it was going to be. There's a bit of everything going on in there, but it's not awful. I feel like the apricot nectar's really coming into play, balancing things out a bit, maybe with the lime juice as well. Let me stir it in first so I can get a proper feel for what's going on. Now the all-important second sip, as Craig, not Craig, would say. Cheers. Wow, okay, you cannot really taste much of the alcohol. If anything, it's the beer the most, and the apricot, that's it. I think the lime juice and maybe the mojito powder is coming into play a little bit. At least I think this isn't a pre-workout. No, this is more of a health thing. This is muscle repair and recovery. It's got amino acids in it. So it's a healthy drink with a slight mojito vibe going on, despite not really having any mojito ingredients in it. I mean, we got tequila, so margaritas and mojitos. Margaritos? Mojiritas? No, margaritos. This is not as bad as you would think it was with what went in it. Going for a third sip, real quick. It just looks like beer, a little bit of head on top, but it tastes so different. It's like a super light, fruity apricot beer, a little on the thicker side, which does sound weird, but that's because of the powder. And when I say thicker, I don't mean it's like a thick shake, but it just has a bit more volume to the liquid. It's pretty nice. Like, I'm really adjusting to it. I think it's gonna pack a punch because of the alcohols that went in it, but it goes down pretty damn easy. So on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, I'm gonna give this one a level 14. It's not blowing me out the water. It's a lot better than I thought it was gonna be. I would order it again, I would drink it again, but I wouldn't be raving about it. It's definitely not a go-to drink, but it's not bad. And as always with the bonus action makeshift drinks, I'll let you guys name this one, so let me know what you think it should be called based on what went in it, the appearance of it, how I described it, whatever floats your goat. Cheers. The dregs, we can't forget about the dregs. I almost forgot, but the tavern pulled me back. Welcome to the dregs. If you're new to the end of any of our videos, except for the blind drunk cocktails, you're now one of the dregs. It's where we finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers, whether or not it's actually dregs. In this instance, it's not. Dregs is what you get at the very bottom. But we still finish every drink because nothing gets wasted here at the tavern. And to be honest, I'm not that beat up about these dregs because this drink is pretty decent. Now I will just say for you guys, the ones that actually care, there is a new episode of Cocktail PvP over on the tube. Go check it out. It's a lot of fun for us to film. I hope it's a lot of fun for you guys to watch. Me and Dylan go head to head. We make cocktails. We don't know what the other one's doing. It's chaotic and fun. If you've caught any of our live streams, it's very much like that. But as a proper series with editing and everything. Dylan's editing it. He's running the tube over there. That's all his domain. I'll still be here on the TikTok running things over here. But definitely come join us over there because we're planning on more content. Anyway, thanks for being a drag. Thanks for being here, and let's get this drink finished. There's quite a bit of liquid here. Cheers. I can already feel how much that has hit me. It was like an instant reaction. That's a strong drink. That's a dangerous drink because it goes down way too easy. Even now after drinking that much, it's still mostly beer and apricot nectar. You don't taste the brandy, you don't taste the absinthe, you don't taste the tequila, which is huge. Usually tequila comes through everything, but I can feel that already working its magic. So I'm gonna clear this up and start filming for another drink. Good night, dregs. Or good time zone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world, because time zones are weird. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. Let's make another makeshift drink. How many alcohols are we getting tonight? Well, it's a bit hard to see the numbers, but that is a 2. You'll just have to trust me. First up is an 18 for whiskey. We've had bourbon a lot lately, but not whiskey, so we're going with the Suntory World Whiskey. Now this is actually a blend of Irish, Scotch, American, Canadian and Japanese whiskies. So when you're not sure which one to go for them all. And for our second alcohol, we've got a 12 for Paraiso, which is a lychee liqueur. So we're going for a bit of a tropical whiskey vibe at the moment. Time for our mixer flip. And we're only getting one mixer tonight. And it is a nat 20. We're back on the nat 20s. That gives us 1 to our successes, meaning our mixer for tonight is good old Coca-Cola. We'll put a reasonable amount in to balance out with the alcohol percentages. Now for our number of additives or garnishes, and we're only getting 1 again, and our 1 is Another nat 20! The dice must be making up for the last drink, giving us another success, neck and neck for an advantage or disadvantage roll. And that gives us bitters, and we're going to go with the orange bitters. So we'll put a few dashes of that in there, should go well with the Coke and the whiskey. Now we get some ice in here, give it a good old stir around, get it all combined, nice and chilled. And we'll pour it up over a large cube, just to keep it nice and cold. Finally, our Bourb'arian sheet featured Dregless Attack instead of Reckless Attack, where I'll roll a d20, and if the result is equal to or less than the total number of ingredients, we're going Dregless. So we're looking for a 4 or less, and a 3 will do it. We are going Dregless tonight. Now this is a much better drink than the last one, and even the one before that. But unfortunately, we have Dregless Attack, meaning I have to drink this all in one go, no dregs left. Dregless. And there is quite a bit of mix here. So just quickly, before I do down this whole drink, we are in other places, if you're not already aware, which you probably are by now. But we've got new series over on the Tube, which we've been having a lot of fun making, so hopefully you guys are enjoying it as well. Or if you haven't seen it yet, hopefully you do enjoy it. It's cocktail PvP, when me and Dylan go head to head to make cocktails. But we're going in with zero prep, zero knowledge of what we're about to do. It's a whole lot of fun. Anyway, it is time to drink this drink now. So I guess, bottoms up. Cheers! Wow, okay. The whiskey didn't hit until right at the end. I definitely could taste the Paraiso, the lychee flavor, or lychee, whatever you want to say. That was coming through the whole way. The Coke is there, but not really a leading flavor. And I'm sure the orange bitters are in there a little bit, but it was mostly that Paraiso flavor, and then right at the end, the whiskey came in super smooth. I'm gonna have to try that whiskey on its own at some point, because I'm not sure if that was the other ingredients that really balanced that out, or if that's just a damn smooth whiskey. But that was really nice. I'm not sure if it's quite a level 20. Now I know in the last video I said it's been a while since we had a level 20 drink, and I don't know if this one's a level 20. It's very good, but something about the Paraiso whiskey, Coke flavors all infused together, I don't know, it needed something else. Maybe a bit of citrus. Bitter citrus might have bumped it up to a level 20, but as it stands, on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, this one's gonna get a level 19. Little bit disappointing, but I think with a bit of lemon juice or a bit of lime juice, a nice little bit of garnish on there as well, it'd be a damn good drink. Now for the name, because that whiskey is a blend of so many different whiskeys from around the world, I'm gonna call it the Wizard's Worldly Whiskey. But of course we're left with the dregs. However, Dregless Attack doesn't really leave us with... Whoa, hang on friend. Because you still have some dregs in that shaker tin right there. You know what? You're right, and I'm not mad about it. Get to it. We still have some left, so this is now the dregs. Wow, that's like half another drink. Well, if you are new to the end of one of these videos, welcome to the dregs. This is where we finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers, which is now you. And all our other lovely dregs, we appreciate each and every one of you. We love that you stick around till the end of the videos, and hopefully you enjoy the extra content. And I suppose it's still fair, because Dregless Attack, we did get down in one, and I wouldn't call this dregs. So in a weird way, we're not left with dregs. We're left with half a drink. So it was still dregless, technically. And we're getting this down in one as well, as we always do with the dregs. So cheers to the dregs, thanks for being here. Hopefully we see you over in the other places, and hopefully you're enjoying the other content. But we're still gonna be here doing this. Bottoms up. Definitely need some citrus. Citrus would just kick that off so well. But a level 19 is still a pretty damn good drink. Good night, dregs. Or good time zone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world, because time zones are weird. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. Let's make another makeshift drink. How many alcohols to round off the week? A big 4, just like last Saturday. First up is a 12 for Paraiso, which we had in the last makeshift drink, but I don't hate to see it. Second, we have a 10 for gin. Let's see which gin we're going with. And it's the Mason's Grapefruit and Mandarin Gin. It should pair pretty well with the Paraiso, which is a lychee or lychee liqueur. Our third alcohol is a 7 for Ouzo. Things are starting to get weird now with that aniseed licorice flavour going in. And finally, a 19 for Limoncello, which we also had recently, but is definitely a nice addition to this drink. Time for our mixer flip. And we're getting 2 mixers. First up is a 10 for grape juice. It's been a while since we've had grape juice, and it's just adding to the fruity elements of this drink. Our second mixer is an 8 for Yakult, which I've just realized is a little bit past its use by date. We'll give it a smell test. It smells alright, we'll add it in. It's fine. Now for our number of additives or garnishes. And it's a big 4, so we have a maxed out drink tonight. First up is another 4 for chili flakes. So we'll just chuck in an amount, that feels about right. Next we have a 10 for sugar syrup, which was also in the last makeshift drink. So we'll just add a little bit of that in. It's not gonna make much of a difference at this point. Next up we have a 6 for Barocca. Now, if you don't know what Barocca is, it's a tablet that you add into water to make sort of like an energy-esque drink. And for our final roll, we have an 8 for a tahine rim. So let's put this aside, let the Barocca do its thing, and we're gonna bust out the rimming station made by our good friend Tom over at Tosano Trading Co. Definitely go check him out if you haven't already. As I've said before, he is our woodworking wizard. He's doing amazing things. Now let's give this glass a good rimming. Make sure we cover the whole rim. We'll put some ice in here and we'll give it a good shake. Oh, I didn't think about that. It is kind of making the drink carbonated because of the fizz from the Barocca tablet. Let's just toss it back and forth a couple of times. That'll solve the problem, I hope. Now we can pour it into our freshly rimmed glass. And last but not least, our Bourb'arian sheet feature, Dregless Attack instead of Reckless Attack, where I'll roll a d20, and if the result is equal to or less than the total number of ingredients, we're going Dregless. Now a maxed out drink does have a 50-50 chance, so we're looking for 10 or less, and a nat 20 won't do it. The dice have said no tonight. Well, things have appeared to have gone downhill again. I really don't know how I feel about this. It smells okay, but I'm sure it's not going to taste okay. But just quickly, we're coming to that time where we're going to be swapping over to some new sheets. So the Bourb'arian will be coming to an end, and we're going to be moving on to the Sorcerer, unless we can come up with a better name for a sorcerer. But at the moment, we're sticking with the Sorcerer, you know, like a whiskey sour, an amaretto sour. There's a lot of different sour options that can go on the list, lots of different sour liqueurs, sour mix. So that's probably what we're going to go with. Unless any of you can really win me over with a new name, but we'll see. However, if you do have any suggestions for alcohols, mixers, additives or garnishes, let me know, because it might make its way onto the sheet if we can get it. Now I'm going to try this drink. I've just been putting it off this whole time. Cheers. Let's see what we've got. There is so much happening right now. It's taking me on a terrible roller coaster. I got the tahine straight out the gate, which partnered up with the chili flakes almost immediately. So it was a real spicy kick out the front. Then it was quite fruity, actually, because the Barocca is like orange flavored. And then you had the gin, which was grapefruit and mandarin. It definitely tastes like the Paraiso's coming into play there a bit as well, but it's very hard to figure out what flavor's coming forward the most. And it does have a very weird aftertaste, which I think is the ouzo, that aniseed, licoricey kind of flavor. So I guess I'm going in for a second sip to figure out what is happening in this drink. Cheers! I didn't get as much of the burn at first, and it's coming after this time, but the initial flavor was definitely the Barocca. That sort of artificially orange flavor partnered up with all those other little fruity flavors. The grape juice is kind of lost. The Yakult is maybe adding a bit of sweetness, but then so's the sugar syrup. And there's that ouzo flavor at the very end again. It's super weird, but it's not the worst thing I've had. I wouldn't be racing out to get another one, but it's drinkable. I suppose I should try a little bit without the tahini, just to see if it makes a difference. Cheers. Not really. It took a little bit of that confusingness away from the start of the drink, but you still get all those other weird flavors. So I think on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, I'm gonna have to sit this one at a level 5. I was tossing up whether I wanted to go above a 5 or below a 5, but I just think a straight 5. And for the name, because you've got all those fruity flavors in there, but because it also has quite a hit to it, I'm gonna call it the Ogre's Punch. But we can't forget about the dregs. Welcome to the dregs. If you're new to the end of any of these videos, you're now one of the dregs. It's where we finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers, which is now you and all our other lovely dregs. Thank you for always sticking around to the end of the videos. You know who you are. And like usual, we have a lot more than just dregs in this drink, and it's gonna be a little bit more because there was definitely some left over. Why do I do that to myself? Because we don't waste anything here at the tavern, that's why. I honestly don't know about getting the rest of this down in one. It's pretty much a dregless attack. We've had drinks that are probably smaller than this that we've done dregless attack for. So I guess being a dreg means you get to see an extra dregless attack version of this drink. So with that being said, let's get it done. Cheers to the dregs, thanks for being here. Jesus Christ. Whoa. Whoa. It got spicy halfway through. It was okay, and then the spice hit, and now the spice is really hitting. I might have put a bit too much chili flake in there. Weird, burning, fruity flavors, and the aniseed's starting to come in. I'm getting a weird sort of bubble at the back of my throat from something sticky. Maybe the Yakult, I don't know. I almost want to drop it from the level 5 to a level 4, but we'll stick with the level 5. Good night, dregs. Or good time zone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world, because time zones are weird. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. It is Makeshift Monday, so let's make another makeshift drink. How many alcohols for the start of the new week? Only 1, so it's a very simple drink so far. And our 1 alcohol is an 11 for Dubliner, which is a honeycomb liqueur. There are other Dubliners, but this is the one we have. Now it's already time for our mixer flip. And we're only getting 1 mixer as well. And it is another 11 for ginger ale. But I might hold off, we'll see what else we get. We might want to shake it and top it up with the ginger ale after. Are we going to get 1 additive or garnish? Nope, we're getting 3, of course. Will it be another 11? No, it's a 10, close, for sugar syrup. Now the honeycomb liqueur does have a sweetness to it, but it also has a burn, so the sugar syrup should help with that. Next we have a 7 for condensed milk, which actually sounds really good with honeycomb liqueur. And yes, it is in a tube. We do have condensed milk in cans, but a tube is easier for what I'm doing here. And our final roll is another 10 for more sugar syrup. Of course it is. So let's double up on the sugar syrup. Now we're going to add some ice. Give these ingredients a shake. Pour it into our glass. And to be honest, I see nothing wrong with this so far. But now we're going to top it up with ginger ale, so it's a bit bubbly. It might react with the condensed milk a bit, but we'll see. And finally, our Bourb'arian sheet feature, Dregless Attack instead of Reckless Attack, where I'll roll a d20, and if the result is equal to or less than the total number of ingredients, we're going Dregless. So we're looking for a 5 or less, and a 3 will do it. We're going Dregless tonight. Well, it's definitely foamed up on top, and we've got a Dregless Attack, so this has to go down in 1, no dregs left behind, which isn't the worst Dregless Attack we've had, let's be honest. Also, this is the final week of the Bourb'arian sheets, which really snuck up on me, which is ironic considering we've already done the Cointreau sheets before. But we're going to be moving on to the sour Syrah sheets, lots of different sour options on there. I'm looking forward to it. Not quite sure what the sheet feature is going to be yet, but we'll work that out. And that also means we're probably going to be going live on the Sunday to introduce the new sour Syrah sheets. Could be Saturday for you guys, but it might not be on here. It might be over on the tube if we can figure out how to make that work. Because things don't always go well on here for us when we go live. But we'll see what happens. We might end up doing it here, who knows. Anyway, I can see a little bit of separation going on, so I think it's time to hit this Dregless Attack. Cheers, let's get it done. Whoa, very sweet. I thought the ginger ale might have cut it back a little bit, but it's very sweet and very honeycomb, a little bit creamy. It's actually really nice, if not a bit too sweet. I think if you cut back on the sugar syrup or even don't add it at all because the condensed milk is bringing enough sweetness as it is, you've got a pretty good drink. It is a simple drink, but it's still nice. The condensed milk works really well with the honeycomb. The ginger ale also works really well. Honey and ginger, kind of doing it for me. Oh, also, if you're seeing this early enough and I've uploaded it on time, then we're probably over on the Twitch playing some Minecraft, as it is Minecraft Monday, as well as Makeshift Monday. So if you're not doing anything after this, maybe jump over there and come join us. Have a bit of a chat, watch us be idiots in Minecraft. But as far as scoring this drink on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, I think it's gonna get like a level 17, maybe an 18? No, level 17. It's very simple, as it is with all the sugar syrup. It's a little bit too much, but it's still very nice. And for the name, I think we're gonna call it the Gnomish Ginger Honeysuckle. And if you've made it this far, you are now one of the dregs. Welcome to the dregs. It's where we would usually finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers. However, we have Dregless Attack, meaning not a lot of dregs left. Kind of the whole point of a Dregless Attack. But let's see what I can pull together. There's a little bit of something left in here. I'm sure there's some watered down something left in there. Oh yeah. Now that's dregs. That's proper dregs. It doesn't look good, not gonna lie. But thank you for being here, thank you for being a dreg. Hopefully we see you in the other places, the Twitch after this maybe. Or even over on the tube, we're doing lots of things over there too. But until then, cheers to the dregs. Let's get it done. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was pretty decent. Very sweet still, very milky sweet. Anyway, good night, dregs. Or good time zone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world, because time zones are weird. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. Let's make another makeshift drink. Starting us off with our number of alcohols is a big 4 for our midweek drink. First up is a 10 for gin, which I feel like we've been getting quite a bit for these Bourb'arian sheets. And we're going with the Whitley Neal Black Cherry Gin, which might be the first time we've rolled it up. Next up we have a 7 for Ouzo. Don't know how many cocktails have gin and Ouzo, but this one does. Our third alcohol is a 15 for Liquor 43. Which one are we going with? The OG Liquor 43. You know what? That's probably the better option here. And our final alcohol is a 17 for schnapps. And we're going with the peach schnapps. The butterscotch would have worked well with Liquor 43, but the peach will work well with the gin. So it was kind of a win-win. Time for our mixer flip. And we only have one mixer for our 4 alcohols. And our one mixer is a 9 for tonic water. Sometimes I like to top it up with the fizz, but we're gonna just chuck it straight in the mix tonight. Now for our number of additives or garnishes, and we've got 3. First up is a 9 for rosemary sprig. Now I've got my rosemary sprigs here, but obviously we're gonna add that in at the end as a garnish. Next up we have a 2 for a Vegemite rim. Let's get our glass, get it nice and prepared, really work that rim with the Vegemite, get it nice sticky brown rim. And finally we have an 18 for lemon juice, which is almost always welcome in any cocktail I make. Now we'll get some ice in here, give it a good stir, get everything combined, chill it down a bit. Pour it up into our freshly rimmed glass. Stir it up a bit more with the rosemary sprig and pop that in. And finally our Bourb'arian sheet feature, Dregless Attack instead of Reckless Attack, where I'll roll a d20 and if the result is equal to or less than the total number of ingredients, we're going Dregless. So we're looking at an 8 or less. And a 12 won't do it, so no Dregless Attack tonight. I would say other than the Vegemite rim, it looks nice, but then the Vegemite rim kind of works with it. Something to do with like that orange and brown color scheme, kind of works. Flavor-wise, I'm not so sure, but appearance-wise, it doesn't look half bad. However, I think the Vegemite rim will probably be retired for the next sheets, which are coming out very, very soon. And yes, I have heard your comments about calling it the sauce sour or sauce sourer, but something about that is difficult for me to say. I find the saucer a lot easier to say, even though phonetically the other way sounds better, but it also kind of sounds like I'm saying sorcerer in baby speak, like the sauce sour, the sauce sourer. So although I do like it, and written down it looks really good, I think we're gonna stick with the saucer just because it's easier for me to say. And I'm less likely to get caught up on my words. So let's try our second to last Bourb'arian drink that doesn't have bourbon in it. Cheers. Whoa. Okay. I got a big old bit of Vegemite, which texturally was awful. Flavor-wise, not terrible. Surprisingly, the ouzo comes through the most, and I think I put the least amount of that in. But there's a strong aniseed flavor, which works really well with the saltiness from the Vegemite. I don't know how, but it is working. Possibly one of the best Vegemite rims. Now before I go on for a second sip, as I mentioned, this is our second to last Bourb'arian drink, and we will be doing a live stream this coming Sunday. It might be Saturday for you guys. We were hoping to switch over to the tube and do it over there, but there's a strong chance we're just gonna do it here. We'll just have to be on our best behavior and not get banned. So I'm relying on you guys to keep us in check. However, if for some reason we do end up doing it over on the tube, I'll definitely go on here for a little bit just to let all you guys know to go over there. And I'll still do the countdown timer and all that other fun stuff. I'm gonna try this without the Vegemite. Cheers. That's really strange how much the ouzo comes forward. There is a very nice fruity aftertaste that just crept in. The Vegemite got rid of that. And I'm guessing it's largely from the gin, the black cherry, probably partnering up with the peach schnapps. Lemon juice not really coming through, tonic water really not coming through. And I don't know if the Liquor 43's in there doing much. Maybe adding a little bit towards the ouzo flavor. I feel like Liquor 43 and ouzo would work really well together. Sort of like a vanilla-y, caramelly, sweet flavor with that aniseed licorice-y kind of flavor. Who knows? Let's go back to the Vegemite just to see if I was talking out my ass or if it actually does work. Cheers. It definitely tastes better without the Vegemite, but the Vegemite doesn't ruin it. It really blends in with the flavors pretty well. It does leave more of a savory, salty aftertaste compared to the side without Vegemite, which is more of a fruitier, sweeter aftertaste, which I think is definitely better on the fruitier side, but still not bad. The rosemary ain't doing nothing, just looks pretty. So on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, I'm going to give this one, including the Vegemite rim, a level 11. Just a little bit above halfway. The drink itself is quite nice. Even if you're not big on licorice flavored things, it's not bad. And for the name, purely on vibes alone, I'm calling this one the Knowles Nourishment. But as always, we have dregs. I feel like this keeps happening. We really need to work out some kind of scheduling, but you can do the dregs if you want. I mean, if you don't mind, yeah, it's not a problem. Good luck. Yeah, thanks. Welcome to the dregs. If you're new to the end of any of our videos, you're now one of the dregs. It's where we finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers. You guys that stick around to the very end, you get the little bit of extra content. And if anyone in the comments says, why didn't you finish the drink? You can say, you're not a dreg, because we always finish the drinks here. However, I'm not sold on this Vegemite rim, but I guess there's only one way to really know if it's going to work or not. So thank you for being a dreg. Hopefully we see you guys in the other places, as I've been saying a lot lately, but we're very proud of what we're doing over on the tube, and you know, we're having fun over on the T-Witch as well. So come join us in all the places, because it's hopefully going to be a big year for the Tavern. We're planning a big year for the Tavern. Let's get these dregs done. Thanks for being here. Cheers. Oh wow, the Vegemite went away really quickly. I guess if you're just drinking it one mouthful at a time, you got a lot of time for that Vegemite to work its magic. But when you down it, you do get that Vegemite still, but it gets way overpowered by the drink, which is quite nice. Like a cherry licorice sort of vibe going on. However, I think a level 11 is fair. Anyway, good night, dregs. Or good time zone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world, because time zones are weird. Welcome back to the Makeshift Tavern. Let's make our final Bourb'arian Makeshift drink. So how many alcohols for our final Bourb'arian drink? A big 4, that seems about right. First up is a 2 for absinthe. Why am I not surprised? I suppose we'll just polish this bottle off at this point. Our second alcohol is a 12 for Paraiso, which I feel like we've been getting a lot lately, but should pair pretty well with absinthe in a weird way. And next up is a 10 for gin. Now that is something we have been rolling up a lot. This ain't no Pala gin sheet, this is the Bourb'arian sheet. But we're going with the ounce gin, so I guess we'll put an ounce in. And our final alcohol is a nat 1, of course. So that's our third and final fail, meaning our first mixer roll will be with disadvantage. And that gives us Spiritus Rectificavani, which if you don't know, is a Polish spirit that is 95%. So it's a little bit strong. Time for our mixer flip. And we're getting 2 mixers. Now first up is our disadvantage roll. So I'm gonna roll 2 d20s and pick the lower of the 2 numbers. Now it looks like we're going for 12, not a bad roll for iced tea. I have a lemon iced tea, so that's what we're going with. And our second mixer is a 3 for tomato juice. Kind of defeats the purpose of a good disadvantage roll when your second mixer is a 3. Time for our number of additives or garnishes, and we're only getting 1. Great. And our 1 is a 5 for chai spice. I suppose it can't hurt at this point. Let's get some ice in here. We'll give it a good shake. Get it as combined as we can, I guess. double strain it into our glass to catch any lumps. Oh, that's not straining very well. Hang on. Oh, okay, now it's dribbling. You know what, forget the strainer, let's just go all in. What's the worst that could happen now? And time for our final Bourb'arian sheet feature, Dregless Attack instead of Reckless Attack, where I'll roll a d20 and if the result is equal to or less than the total number of ingredients, we're going Dregless. So we're looking for a 7 or less, and we got a 4, so of course our final Bourb'arian has to be Dregless. I'm honestly not surprised. Well, it doesn't have bourbon in it, but if this isn't a barbarian's drink, I don't know what is. And to add insult to injury, we got Dregless Attack, so this has to go down in one, no dregs left behind, which is going to be painful. Very painful, which seems fitting. So on the note that this is the final Bourb'arian Makeshift drink, that means tomorrow we're doing a live stream to introduce the Sour Syrah, which hopefully I've got everything ready for because I'm pre-filming this. And I actually haven't fully started on the new sheets yet, so that's a future Edward problem. Hopefully he's got it covered. Right after this video, I'll be uploading a farewell to the Bourb'arian with a countdown timer for when the live is happening. So if you don't want to miss out, check that out. The farewell, if you haven't seen any, I roll a dice, I do a shot from the Bourb'arian sheet. So it's a little bit of content, a little bit fun, at least for you guys, sometimes for me. And in the meantime, we have to get this down in one. This is a monster of a drink. Maybe Dregless Attack wasn't the best idea, but this is the last one. So go out with a bang, right? Cheers to you guys. Cheers to the Bourb'arian. Cheers to the Tavern. Let's get it done. Oh, almost got me. Oh, almost got me again. Jesus Christ. That was the hardest one. My eyes are watering. Wow. Keep it down. We're good. That was disgusting. Right at the end, it just got me, and then I thought I had it, and then it wanted to come back up, and now it's back down. It's still kind of fighting inside there, but we got it done. That was a big drink. That was very fitting for the Bourb'arian, despite not having bourbon in it. Well, that's most of that gone. I feel a lot better now, actually. Sorry for anyone listening with headphones. Okay, what can I say about this drink? It was bad, tomato juice didn't help, and I can't really make out what was going on. It was just a plethora of different flavors. I feel like the absinthe was coming through a little bit. Definitely the tomato juice. The Paraiso, a little bit on the back of my throat there, weirdly enough. Chai spice, not at all. As much as I don't want the final drink to a sheet to be a level 1, I think on our level 1 to 20 scoring system, it's a level 1, unfortunately. But that was so rough. Now for the name, as much as this is a barbarian drink, it's not a Bourb'arian drink because there's no bourbon in it. But as a little throwback to the first Bourb'arian drink, which was the Bourb'arian's first brawl, this drink will be the Barbarian's final brawl. But of course, we're left with the dregs. Welcome to the dregs. If you're new to the end of any of our videos, you're now one of the dregs. It's usually where we would finish the dregs of the drinks with the dregs of the viewers, the ones that stick around to the very end. But Dregless Attack does make that a bit difficult. However, every time we've had Dregless Attack, there's always a little bit of something left behind. So let's see what we get this time. Ooh, that is very, very watery, which might help. Who knows? Oh, it doesn't look good. This could be a mistake. However, cheers to the dregs. Definitely check out the farewell to the Bourb'arian coming out straight after this, and hopefully we get to see a bunch of you in the live tomorrow. For us. Might be later today for you. Time zones are weird. I'm not sure exactly what time it's going to be yet, but the countdown timer will be in the farewell video, so check that out and you can set a reminder for it. Cheers to the dregs, let's get this last little bit down and get out of here. It didn't make it any better. It's still bad. It's definitely a level 1. Don't try that drink. And don't mess with barbarians, because my lesson has been learned. Learnt? Learned. I don't know, that drink's really getting to me. Good night, dregs. Or good time zone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world, because time zones are weird.